Today we're diving into Germany's mounting security fears as World War II ghosts refuse to stay buried, a shocking political push in Berlin that could reshape who gets to vote, Europe's new tech war with China, Macron's startling warning about battles in space, and a Christmas market decision in Switzerland that should alarm anyone who values freedom. But the most jaw-dropping revelation I've saved for the very end. I spent years inside one of those big-name media operations, the kind everyone watches, the kind everyone trusts, and I watched editors bend stories, omit inconvenient facts, shape narratives to fit agendas. So I left. Now I'm out here, independent, answering to no one but you and the truth I tell you what matters, not what someone upstairs decided you should hear. And speaking of truth, I need to ask something personal. This work, digging through sources, verifying facts, making sure I'm not feeding you propaganda or half-truths, it's exhausting. It takes hours every single day. If you value what we're building here, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and if you're able, consider sponsoring us. Every bit helps keep this operation free from corporate strings. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the end, because what I'm about to reveal in the final segment will completely reframe how you see what's unfolding across Europe right now. So let's start in Germany, where the past literally won't stay buried. In Kiel, nearly 2,000 residents had to evacuate their homes. Why? Because authorities found a 500-kilogram American bomb from World War II. Just yesterday, Nuremberg saw 21,000 people forced from their homes for the exact same reason. Think about that. 80 years after the war ended, Allied munitions are still being unearthed, still dangerous, still disrupting lives. How many more are buried under German soil, ticking time bombs, no pun intended, waiting to be discovered? But here's where things get even more intriguing. It's not just old explosives making Germans nervous. According to the latest research, almost two-thirds of Germans, 62%, are genuinely worried about safety at Christmas markets. And that fear isn't abstract. It's concrete enough that people are staying home, skipping traditions that go back generations. The reasons are layered, sure. High prices on food and drinks play a role, but security concerns top the list. Yet 59% say they're going anyway, pushing through the anxiety. Because what's the alternative? Let fear win? And get this, 63% of Germans won't be setting off fireworks this New Year's Eve. Now in Germany, you're only allowed to launch fireworks between December 31st and January 1st, a narrow window. But every year, hundreds of people end up injured from careless handling. Earlier this year, an environmental organization and the police union delivered a petition to Germany's Interior Ministry, signed by nearly 2 million people, demanding a total ban on private fireworks. The government's response? They called a nationwide ban impractical. So the danger continues, the injuries pile up, and the debate rages on. Now let me throw something else into the mix, something that's causing absolute uproar in Berlin. Elif Eralp, the new leader of Berlin's Left Party, just made a stunning demand at a party conference. She wants foreigners to have voting rights, regardless of whether they hold German passports. Her exact words: everyone should have the right to vote. It's a democratic given. Let that sink in for a moment. We're not talking about citizens. We're talking about anyone residing in the country, passport or not, getting a say in elections. But wait, there's more. Eralp didn't stop there. She celebrated the fact that Berlin has the largest Palestinian community in Europe, and she criticized Berlin's mayor, Kai Wegner, for not meeting with Palestinian representatives or expressing sympathy toward them. She also claimed that peaceful pro-Palestinian demonstrations in Berlin are met with suspicion. Experts are now speculating that Eralp could actually become Berlin's governing mayor after the next state elections in September 2026. Current polling shows the Left Party as the second strongest force in the city. Sound familiar? In the United States, Democrats pushed for broader voting access for newcomers, hoping to cement permanent power. It didn't work out. Will Germany learn from that or repeat the mistake? Here's a question worth considering. If you allow people without citizenship to vote, what does citizenship even mean anymore? Is it just a piece of paper, or does it represent a deeper bond, a commitment, a shared stake in the nation's future? And what most people miss is how this connects to larger patterns we're seeing across Europe, attempts to reshape electorates, to redefine belonging, to alter the fundamental social contract. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me pull back and show you another piece of this puzzle. Germany just approved something else that's generating heated debate. Over half of Germans, 58%, support mandatory medical examinations for young men, only 29% oppose it, and 13% couldn't decide. This aligns with Defense Minister Boris Pistorius' proposal, though it's not yet compulsory military service. After the medical check, young men can still choose whether to serve. Pistorius hopes this voluntary approach will help address the shortage of 80,000 soldiers, but experts warn Germany needs mandatory conscription now, not a gradual volunteer system. The question is, will public support translate into policy, or will Germany keep kicking this can down the road while its military capacity erodes? Meanwhile, Berlin's Senate just approved a dramatically stricter set of fines for illegal littering. The goal, they say, is to deter violators and reduce trash on the streets. One of the most common types of litter? Cigarette butts. If you carelessly toss a cigarette butt in Berlin now, you're looking at a fine between 250 and 3,000 euros. Yes, you heard that right. 3,000 euros for a cigarette butt. It's a striking example of how governments use financial penalties to reshape behavior, but it also raises questions. Is this about cleanliness or about control, about public health or about revenue generation? I'll let you decide. Now here's where things shift from domestic policy to international strategy, and this is where the story gets genuinely fascinating. Germany is preparing a major move against Chinese technology. The Bundestag just approved a law giving Germany's Interior Ministry sweeping new powers. Authorities can now ban components from certain manufacturers in critical sectors: energy, transportation, healthcare, you name it. The official reason? Cybersecurity risks. But this isn't just about security, it's a statement, a line in the sand. These measures echo what European countries did earlier in telecommunications, but Germany's going further, covering more industries. And it all accelerated after Chancellor Friedrich Merz spoke in Berlin, declaring that future 6G networks will contain zero Chinese components, including Huawei. Next week, Germany and France are co-hosting a major summit on digital sovereignty, where they'll discuss how Europe protects its technology and infrastructure from outside influence. Germany's making a bold move against Chinese tech, and it could reshape the rules not just domestically, but across the entire European Union. So we're watching closely because the intrigue is just beginning. But if you think that's dramatic, wait until you hear what France's president just announced, Emmanuel Macron, whose approval ratings have plummeted to historic lows, made a startling declaration. He said modern conflicts are already being fought in space, and that tomorrow's wars will begin there too. His exact words: space is no longer a sanctuary, it has become a battlefield. So France is investing in capabilities to act not just from Earth, but from space itself. Macron's preparing for Star Wars-style cosmic battles, and according to him, they're already underway. That's the reality he's presenting to the French people. Whether you believe him or think he's deflecting from domestic failures, well, that's another conversation entirely. And now, let me take you to Switzerland, where something happened that left a lot of people stunned. In Zurich, they're gradually weaning people off cash. There's no other way to put it. At the Christmas market in Zurich, cash isn't just discouraged, it's banned. And vendors who accept it face fines. Imagine this. You arrive at Zurich's Christmas market. You want to buy mulled wine or roasted chestnuts. You pull out cash, and surprise, it's not allowed. Only contactless payments work. The organizers claim it's for safety, but for vendors, it's more than an inconvenience. If someone accepts cash, they're hit with a 500-franc fine, roughly 541 euros. Organizers insist this is standard practice for large events, backed by the city of Zurich and Swiss Railways. But the vendors? They're furious. One told the media that half his customers pay with cash. If he refuses it, he loses income. The impact is especially harsh on sellers whose products target children because kids don't have cards or smartphones. So Zurich's Christmas market has become not just a holiday celebration, but a heated battleground between digital payments and physical money. And here's the kicker. They keep telling us that when digital currency rolls out in 2029, cash will still be an option. But if you believe that, I've got a bridge to sell you. They're setting conditions right now, even in Switzerland, and it's causing major backlash in the media. This is what I mean when I say the most interesting part comes at the end. Look at the pattern. Germany tightening security, tightening tech controls, tightening who can do what and where. Berlin politicians pushing to expand voting beyond citizens. France's leader talking about space wars while his country burns domestically. Switzerland quietly eliminating cash under the guise of convenience and safety. These aren't isolated incidents. They're threads in a larger tapestry, a gradual reshaping of how European societies function, who participates, what freedoms remain. So let me leave you with this. 80 years after World War II, bombs still surface in Germany, reminders that the past never fully dies. But what about the future? What kind of society are we building when cash becomes contraband, when voting rights blur, when every cigarette butt costs thousands, when technology gets weaponized in trade wars, when leaders tell us battles rage in space? I want to hear your thoughts. Drop them in the comments. What do you make of everything happening across Europe right now? And if this kind of reporting matters to you, hit like, subscribe, and consider supporting the channel. We do this work so you stay informed, so you see beyond the headlines. Until next time, I hope for peaceful skies, and I hope the news tomorrow brings only good things. Take care.